Hi, Happy New Year. First vlog of 2024. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, New Year? We were talking on Sunday chat about how New Year feels for us and that sort of expectation that everybody has of New Year. It's all going to be shiny and new and fresh and New Year, new me. We don't subscribe to any of that. And I was actually writing a few thoughts down earlier about New Year when I was a child. And I think I said on Sunday chat, I was often slightly confused that it didn't look any different. And I was writing a few thoughts down and I remembered things that I used to do on New Year's Day. And generally it was very quiet and quite flat and uninspiring. And I think I chose to be fairly quiet on my own in my room and very often playing new music that I'd received for Christmas, usually on cassette, because I adored cassettes, loved my cassettes. So it would be a sort of reflective time, you know, and it always seemed quite grey and damp and fairly cold. And today's pretty much the same. I'm not sure what time it is. I think it's around 3, half 3, something like that. You can see behind me it's still light, but starting to go dark. And it's fairly breezy, quite cool. But anyway, to get back to New Year, I don't make resolutions, and I don't think I ever have. And I think for me, it's important not to get swept up in all the sort of expectations of newness and, unrealistic goal setting and all of that. I just don't get swept up in that. To me, it's just another day. Yes, the calendar has changed, but it's just another day. And I think this time of year can be quite emotionally charged for people, for good or bad. There are those of us that, like to get really high and happy and go all out partying and get swept up in that vibe. And there are many of us that, have times where we are down and feeling quite depressed by the whole thing. And then there's some of us that like to walk the middle ground, which is kind of me and Paul. We kind of like to walk straight down the centre and sort of not get very high, not get very low, just deal with it as an everyday state. In general, I try not to get too high or low about most things in life. I try to avoid the extremes because for me, the extremes are sort of unrealistic states. Life teaches you stuff as you get older, and especially as the things that you thought would be very, very difficult to deal with, like death, losing people, aren't as bad as you think they're going to be in the long run, upon reflection. It isn't the end of the world when somebody gets old and passes away. It's not the end of the world. Yes, it's a shocking thing sometimes if you lose somebody unexpectedly, but the world doesn't stop. And you don't necessarily need to dive into the depths of despair, because believe it or not, in this world, people die. That's reality. And I think as soon as we can get a grip on that, the better. So when I talk about the extremes, that's what I mean. The extremes of sadness and the extremes of very high happiness, which I also avoid as well. I avoid feeling too elated about things, because the higher up you go, the further down you can fall. That's my belief. So I like to keep things in the middle, in the grey area, if you like, because that suits me. Because I think there is a feeling of getting out of control if I get too high and happy. And there's also an expectation that there'll be something that will bring me back down to earth quite sharpish. So it's a kind of guarded thing, I think, and a bit of a control thing, but isn't everything, really, if you really think about it. And the other thing about New Year is every day is the beginning of a new year, if you really think about it. The next 365 days, no matter when you start that period, is a new year. And let's not forget, people celebrate their new year at different times. So just because we've got a calendar that starts on the 1st of January and celebrates the new year then, other people have got different calendars. So that marking of the period, for me, is pointless. Every day should be a new start. I know that sounds a bit idealistic, but it's true. When we wake up in the morning, we make a choice, get out of bed, strive forwards, and make a decision to deal with the day. I mean, after all, what is the word resolution? To make a firm decision about something. Something that you're going to do or not do. I think we all make resolutions every single day of our lives. I was also thinking about things that we used to do on New Year's Day, and for many years we used to visit a friend. She used to host a New Year's Day party. And over the years, it kind of got bigger and bigger, and there were more people involved, and eventually we're all in this small house, crammed in there, all feeling particularly tired as the years went on. And eventually it sort of fizzled out. And to be honest, we became less and less interested in doing stuff around this time of year because it all felt too busy and too crammed into, the space of 2 weeks, racing around, visiting friends and family, very often going up north, having people over on Christmas Day or Boxing Day, going out on New Year's Eve, then going out on New Year's Day. No, it got too much. So that eventually stopped happening. I mean, it was fun at the time, but over the years, I don't know, I think we got to the point where we're like, oh, we're going out on New Year's Day again. So I think over time we just all decided that it was just too much, which was okay. And the other thing I was thinking about as well is, when I talk about walking down the middle of things and not getting too high or allowing myself to get too low, it's about finding the joy, and it's about finding joy that is kind of quiet joy. I'm talking about me here. I'm not imposing this on everybody. This is not how I think everybody should think. But to me, it's an ideal way of being because you're not exposing yourself to all the extremes, So I was thinking about how I find joy, the things I find joy in, simple things. as you know, because I share those things with you. A sunrise, a sunset, a beautiful cloud formation, some dramatic weather, beautiful scenes on a walk, you know, eating good food or having a tasty meal. You know, every evening is a joy having a tasty meal. It's simple things like that. I don't need to travel halfway around the world to see a temple or, you know, I don't need to do that. I don't need to go partying in Ibiza, um, you know, just to find my peak of entertainment. No, I don't need to. I find joy in simple things. And I think that if I was going to give any kind of message to anybody, it would be to find joy in your own backyard. Because if you can't find it there, it's very doubtful that you'll find true joy anywhere else. And I think that's a quote from The Wizard of Oz. You know, it's like people that flit around from relationship to relationship. If you don't fix your stuff, you'll take it to the next relationship. You know, people think that meeting a new person will make them feel better and fix all their issues, and no, it won't, because they're your issues. Own them. And I think I've talked about it before in terms of the whole fear of missing out thing, especially with Christmas. Other people impose their own fear of missing out onto other people. Oh, you must go to this party. It's going to be great. I can't believe you don't want to go. You're missing out. No, I'm not missing out. I'm making a choice to give myself pleasure in different ways. And I'm certainly not preaching my ways to anybody else, but it works for me. Sort of keeping myself in a steady balance works for me. You know, I no longer feel the need to go over the top with stuff in life. And that kind of goes for the whole Christmas thing as well, in terms of, you know, buying big presents for people and, you know, trying to impress people with expensive gifts. I did that at one point. And yes, it does give you pleasure to see people's faces when they open a lovely gift and go, wow. But ultimately, it's pointless, because I don't think that's the true meaning of gift giving. And that's why I object to the whole Christmas malarkey as well. I hope I'm not coming across as a real Debbie Downer, because I'm not. I'm just saying like it is for me, my experience, and what I prefer. And, you know, in relation to New Year's Day. So there you go. Those are my thoughts for today. My thoughts around New Year and the whole shebang. I did watch the fireworks on BBC this morning because I was in bed by 10:30 and asleep. Slept through the whole thing. It was great. But I did watch the fireworks, and my first thought was, how much has that cost? Yeah. How much? Crazy. Anyway, I'm going to go. Take care, Toodlepip. I'm at work and we're being absolutely battered by high winds. Don't know whether you can hear that, but it's absolutely crazy. Doesn't look it, but it is. I think this is the tail end of Storm Henk. I don't know whether you can hear that, but we are being really, really, really battered. I've just had to tell a colleague to close their window up there because a load of stuff just flew out off their windowsill. I hope it calms down. God, it's getting worse. Whoa. Whoa. And this morning we have torrential rain. Absolutely chucking it down. It's Wednesday morning, by the way. I'm at work, obviously. Look at that. Falling on saturated ground. At least the wind's died down. Well, good evening. Good evening. It's Wednesday evening. I feel a bit flat this evening. It's not been particularly busy. It's what I would call a slow day today. So there was, stuff happening, but very spaced out. Things coming in sort of drip, like being drip fed stuff, which isn't very stimulating, to be honest, and has left me feeling a bit flat and a bit tired. It's about 5:30 now. I've just put a wash on, so I want to try and get ahead this week with, working a full week. It's not a full week, but I'm working all week apart from Monday. That's a full week, as far as I'm concerned. My nose is running again. The temperature is changing. It's dropped, basically. Where's my tissue? Oh, there. The temperature's dropping. So yesterday was extremely windy, as you saw on those clips. Crazy. And today's been wet. And there's a yellow weather warning for rain tomorrow and Friday, I think. And then the temperature's really dropping down. So, and I can notice it, the house is getting a bit cooler. And I guess we will start having proper wintry weather, which is kind of how it goes in the UK. If you're in the south, certainly. You don't tend to get any snow really until January, February. And that's when it feels like winter is never going to end. Because very often, March and April can also be really dreary and wet. I'm full of joy today, aren't I? Not really. So so I don't really have an awful lot to say, We're watching a new programme on Netflix, which we'll talk about in Sunday Chat, which we're both enjoying. So we'll be carrying on with that this evening, which I'm looking forward to because I'm dying to know what happens. So yeah, I'm afraid I'm not full of sparkling entertainment today. But hey, that's life, isn't it? Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Oh, it's Thursday. Thursday evening. Just got in from work and changed. It's absolutely chucking it down out there. Literally bucketing down. And if I put you near the fireplace, you can hear the rain hitting the cowl at the top of the house. Just listen. Can you hear that? I hope you could. Otherwise, that was pointless. So, let me think. I'm in a bit of a haze this afternoon, to be honest. Let me think. Yeah, okay, didn't sleep very well last night. Felt as though I wasn't going to drop off properly. And then I don't think I got properly comfortable. There's kind of a position that I get into in bed, which with my head and neck supported well, and it just suits me, and usually on my side, and I drop off. Well, I couldn't get into that position for some unknown reason. I don't know why, and ended up on my back, which doesn't suit me. And I sort of drifted in and out, and then heard 4 o'clock on the chimes on the clock downstairs. I thought, oh, great. And then I heard 6 o'clock. I thought, oh God, the alarm's going to go off in a minute. And of course it did. 7 o'clock alarm. Well, actually it was a bit earlier because Paul had set an alarm for him a little bit earlier because he was going down to Cranley to see Vanessa. And had to wash my hair this morning as well. So it all felt a little bit of a rush. Those are the mornings you just think, oh, if my willpower was weaker, I would be calling in sick because I can't do it today. But of course I have done it and I've got through it. But I did have a bit of a dip this afternoon where I just thought I just can't look at the screen anymore. And I do take regular breaks away from the screen. I go for a little walk around. So I'm not glued to it all the time. But today it wasn't busy. It was not slow. It was sort of fair to middling. Let's call it that. Not sure what that actually means, but hey, that's what I'm going to call it. But I've sort of been thinking about work today and thinking about the fact that I'm going to be doing a month, the whole of January, I'm going to be doing full-time work. And, I've been thinking about the money versus the time off. I did want to take some leave in January, but my boss is taking leave and I don't really want to take time off when she's off because that leaves no cover at all. And it's unfair to the service. So I'll probably take some time off in February, but I am ready for some kind of break. Even though we've just had some time off, I know it sounds so greedy, but I do feel quite tired. And I don't feel as though Paul and I have had a proper getaway for quite some time. And with me working full time, we've not had our usual walks and trips out to the countryside, visiting favourite places. We haven't even been to Kew, for ages. So I feel a bit sort of lacking in inspirational journeys and inspirational trips, and which serve as inspirations for creativity and, all the things I enjoy doing: music, writing, doing a little bit of art, maybe photography. I feel as though I've not really done any of that and I'm missing it, and I know I'm missing it mentally. Those kind of things recharge you, they nourish you. Well, they nourish me. Need to remember to talk about me, and own it. And, I've been weighing up the fact that, I fought to go part time. And now, because of the cost of living crisis and the energy crisis and all of the things that go to, towards paying bills and affording to live, at the moment are kind of relying on me to bring in the majority of the dough, which is fine, absolutely fine. But I'm almost becoming trapped by that money, because there is that constant lure of wanting to bring the money in, wanting to earn more so we can afford to have the heating on, and yet also craving the time to do stuff that we enjoy together. And I was talking about the fear of missing out. I think the other day, I can't remember. If I'm going to have FOMO, it will be about not going on trips, stuff like that, you know, because I do feel as though we are missing out at the moment. But I'm trying not to go too extreme, like I said the other day, and trying not to freak out about it, because I do believe that things happen for a reason. And also, the weather's really rubbish at the moment. Where are we going to go on a day like today? In the dark, wet? No, we're not going to walk through the Chilterns. So it's a case of reframing things. For example, photography. I could do a house photography project. I've done that before. I think when I first got my first camera, when I was learning photography, I went around the house photographing all my Buddhas, and experimented with Buddhas for a while. So there's a few other ideas I've had. I love wood knots because some of them are really curious looking, and some of them have faces in them. And in our bathroom, there's a whale jumping into the sea in a wood knot. I know, crazy. And I've always thought, I wonder if I could do a sort of montage of wood knots that look like other things. No, but seriously, things like that I never get round to doing. So maybe I need to focus on doing a few in-house photography projects and not rely on sweeping landscapes and things like that. I'm waffling now. I realise this. So yeah, I've just been sort of weighing things up this afternoon in my head, whilst working, and sort of questioning whether I'm satisfied. And I'm not entirely satisfied at the moment. I wouldn't say I'm unhappy, but I'm unhappy with having to work all these hours. But I'm also grateful. I've got to balance it with that. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful to be able to do the extra hours and bring extra cash in. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to have a job. I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. I'm grateful to be able to afford to put the lights on, to be able to have some heating and various other things in my life. I'm grateful to all of you for watching. I'm grateful to our supporters who support us financially as well. there's so many things I'm grateful for in life, and I do practice gratitude. But sometimes the reality is things wear you down and things get to you, especially in the depths of winter. But I don't let them get to me in terms of feeling depressed. I process those feelings. I sit with them for a few minutes. I allow myself to feel them, and then I move forwards and do what needs to be done. I need to cook dinner this evening for Paul, so I need to sort out what we're having. Yeah, move through minute by minute, second by second, day by day. I better go because I'll waffle even more. So I'll say goodbye and I'll see you tomorrow. It's Friday, thank goodness. Take care. Bye for now. Good evening. It's Friday evening. And I'm snuggling down for the evening because it's feeling chilly. Temperature's dropped. I think it's around 13 degrees in the house, so I've got my little heater on. I've just turned it on. So, okay, let's recap. This morning we had British Gas come at 8 o'clock to do our boiler service. And it's really interesting because he started off by saying, oh God, you've got an old boiler. And we sort of said, well, actually, a lot of people who've serviced it over the years have said, keep hold of this boiler, it's a really good one. Even though we might not be able to get parts for it for much longer, it's a good boiler. So he started off by doubting this, and by the end of doing the service, he told Paul that actually it's really burning efficiently. There was hardly any residue or build-up inside the system. It's burning really cleanly. And he rated it at the top band of efficiency, which was not done on our energy efficiency rating that we had done when the house was put on the market. They basically said, oh, it's an old boiler, it's not very efficient. Well, actually, it really is. It's a very efficient boiler. And he's given the documentation to us to prove it. So that was good news. So, sometimes the older things, the older models are the best. So I'm really pleased by that. Still doesn't make any difference in terms of the amount of energy we need to heat this house, but hey, at least we know that. So that was this morning. I went off to work, and I have to say I've worked my ass off today. I mean, it's been a really sort of slow week, but today the momentum really gained pace. Friday afternoon and you're dumping stuff on me to do. Really? I didn't mind. I really didn't mind because it sort of helps me to push myself a little bit, which I did. And I managed to get up to date and finish my work. In fact, I got up to date by 4:30, which I was really pleased about. Yeah. So, yeah, nothing else to report. It seemed today to be ever so slightly lighter at 4:30 because I had a sort of little break at 4:30 and looked outside and took a breath of fresh air and had a little walk around the office. Yeah, just ever so slightly lighter. We're moving in the right direction towards the light. But of course, we're also moving in the direction towards the depths of January and February, which can be filled with wintry weather. Something to look forward to. Yeah. So, anything else to report? I'm taking it easy this evening. That's the only thing I'm going to report. There are a couple of things I need to do. I need to put some washing on, but I know I'm relaxing this evening and doing very little apart from watching TV. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow. Doodle pip. No, don't worry, I've not had my hair cut. It's just tied back. I've been busy this morning, sorry. And when I say I've been busy, I mean I've been busy, unlike some people. Yeah, I've not stopped. Had a good night's sleep because during the week I had two nights of poor sleep. Can't really work out why. Wasn't really worried about anything. Just, I don't know, I was just thrown off somehow. But I had a good night last night, which was great. Slept right through till about 7:30, something like that, which was just lovely. But this morning has been busy. What have I done? Okay. 3 washes, not full loads, 1 full load, then a jeans wash, which is the sort of quick wash on a low temperature. Had to do my green jumper separately because if I wash that with other things, it coats everything in bright green fibres, and I don't want that somehow. Soaked my cleaning cloths and my tea towels, put some washing away, vacuumed, got the big vacuum out to do the rugs downstairs to give them a really good vacuum, cleaned the shark vacuum with the other vacuum, that's what I do, cleaned the filter, cleaned the bath, what else, washed Paul's woolen socks, debobbled a jumper, debobbled my gloves, washed my gloves by hand, as well as Paul's socks. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's plenty. But I tell you what, nice and warm. Nice and warm. If you're feeling cold, do some housework. Sorry, I'm just being nosy. So yeah, now we're going to have lunch because it's about midday. I had to have a mid-morning snack as well because I was feeling a little bit out of energy. But we're going to have some lunch now. Then we need to do Sunday chat. Then I need to edit these and upload. So yeah, Saturday is generally a busy day. I've got to do my dusting as well. I know I've vacuumed, but I vacuumed because I really wanted to clean the rugs properly. Anything else? Can't think. No, that's it. That's plenty. Plenty. So, who's that? Move along. That's it. Sorry, distracted. Weather today is overcast. We've had a few moments of brightness. It's not raining, although it did look as though it was going to rain earlier, but no signs so far. So yeah, I'm going to go now. Carry on. We're due to be at a friend's at 5:30 for dinner. So I need to get a move on really and get stuff done. More stuff done. Bye for now, and thank you so much for watching. Take care. Doodle pip.